wanted to make sure that, with the dead period here in February now, I wanted to be able to have our coaches focus, all of our attention on our kids, since we won't be able to have anybody come here to campus, any recruits, because it is a dead period. I wanted to take advantage of that where we can spend all this time just really working on football and doing the things we need to do to help these guys get better fundamentally and technique and getting them coached up. And then plus it helps us from the standpoint that if we do get anybody nicked up, they got time to heal. And then we'll get done March 6th. We'll meet with the guys on that Tuesday and Wednesday. They'll go for spring break, and now we got 4 solid months of getting bigger and stronger. And that was just something that I felt we needed to do. And thought today was, pretty good day for the first day. We incorporated some new things, and I thought the kids, handled that, well. So, now it's just a matter of, the challenge for them is every day, get a little bit better.
You talked about this before, but how much does it help having so many freshmen here for the spring practice?
I think it's invaluable, for those guys, even the guys that are kind of rehabbing still from injuries, but to have them sitting in the meetings and learning everything, and then the guys out here competing on the field, I just think that gives them a bigger advantage going into the fall. They have a little bit more experience. They understand the routine. They understand what you have to do. So, very, very happy that we have 11 of them here that are participating.
What are some of the goals you have this spring?
The one thing, and I told this to the kids yesterday, I want to see our guys for me, the spring is, and for the coaching staff, is for these guys to get better fundamentally, get better from a technique standpoint. That's first and foremost, because if you can't do that, it's very hard to go out and execute the schemes that you're going to be running. So, and then what I want them to do is I want them to know their position inside and out. And then I think what we have to do is that they have to get better at knowing how the defense functions, or how the offense functions, just not their responsibility. They need to know the whole package. Same thing on special teams. And then what they have to do is to understand how, people are going to attack them. What are the weaknesses when we play certain coverages or a certain front? What's going to give our offense problems, and understanding disguises and all that. And those are the things, is just become more knowledgeable and talk more about the total aspect of, how people and how offenses and defenses are going to affect you, whether you're playing on offense or defense or special teams.
Your approach this year different than last year as far as spring goes, or is it pretty much the same kind of approach?
No, I mean, I think it's, it's really the same in terms of the fundamentals and everything for me. I mean, I'm not sure how much scrimmaging we're going to do. We have 11 offensive linemen, but it's great. Those guys are going to get a lot of reps, and then we're going to, my whole thing is I'm going to try to build as much depth as we can. I mean, I like what we have here. It's just now we got to try to do everything we can to put them in position to be better, and then again give them enough time to get bigger and stronger. Like one of the guys that kind of stood out to me, that you can tell that he worked while he was home they were gone for 41 days. But Malik Dixon, he's a different looking kid now than what he was when he left here, and so that's the thing for me, is really hasn't changed. And we'll do more practicing than scrimmaging, because the whole thing is, we're not going to play a game until September. So I just need to make sure these guys understand what we're doing, and when the time comes to lay it on the line, they'll be ready to do that.
What's KK's status? Has he done kind of what you want him to do in terms of his other break?
He's I don't want to say too many good things, but I have seen a change. I had him, we were talking yesterday, he came in and sat down, and you can see that there's some things, but I told him, I said, he reminds me a lot of Kevin Mitchell, the young man that I recruited when I was at Syracuse from Harrisburg. Went on, he was an All-American there, and then he got drafted in the second round, played like 8, 9, 10 years in the league. And, I told him, I said, Kevin was a knucklehead. just like you, the first couple of years, and then about after 2 years, light went on. And I'm starting to see that, because he is a good kid. He's a good kid, but you go back and watch the cut-ups and all that stuff, and I told him, you don't know how good you can be. And there was things last year he could have had 10, 11 sacks, and that's our job is to continue to get it out of him, but he's got to want to do it. And starting to see that, but don't tell him that, I love the kid to death. I just got to try to find a way, and I'm starting to see now where he's starting to think the light bulb's going on a little bit. So hopefully it continues.
Have you been in touch with Anthony Sherman at all? And are you
just tried to text him and things along those lines, and but I'm just so happy for him because there's a guy that really epitomizes what we're all about. There was a guy that like he said, he doesn't even know if he had a half star coming out of high school, but all he did was come here and just work. He worked harder than anybody else. He was very unselfish, and does his job. And guys like that, you want to see them capitalize on their opportunities. And he's been able to create a situation for himself there where he knows what his role is and goes out and does it. I mean, he plays probably 3 plays on offense in that whole game, one time down on the goal line, and then those last 2, and he does his job and he springs a touchdown, and and that's the thing. He plays on special teams. And I told that to our guys yesterday. Whatever your role is, just go do it to the best of your ability, and that's Sherman. He was a 2-time captain here, and I think he's a leader there for Kansas City, and people there love him, and who wouldn't? Because when you get a guy like him who gives everything he has, it's all about the team. It's not about him. Just happy for the success that those guys have.
It's changed every offseason. Obviously, you had a lot of departures, a lot of new faces. Is it any more challenging, given the numbers? Maybe a little more than most years with coaching.
No, not really. I mean, like I said, the only place that we're really, down a little bit is maybe having about 2 more offensive linemen or so. But I think we got a solid 3 deep, 3 units that we can go with in every other position. But no, it's not that. I mean, it's like I said, the good thing is just, seeing how some of these guys are better now, they're stronger, they're more confident. And like I said, my job is, and the coach's jobs are, to get them to be as good as they possibly can be. I thought one of the things that was good for us is that, we sat down during the break there and went through all the cut-ups. And so I think we got a pretty good feel for, the guys that we have, what they can and cannot do. And those are some of the things that we want to find out yet this spring too. Put some guys in some different positions and doing things to see what they can do, and then be able to incorporate that and play to their strengths. So I don't think it's any more challenging. The challenge I think is more for them to become a more complete football player. And what I mean by that is really understanding a lot more in terms of not just your assignment, but how it all ties in and how people are going to attack you and how we want to attack them and setting guys up as receivers and different things along those lines.
Well, the number of kids leaving, is that a concern, or is it just part of the transfer world now?
I don't even get into that. All I'm concerned about is just coaching the guys that are here. And whatever guys we have here to coach and want to be coached, that's all I want to do is coach those guys.
A lot of guys with new numbers. Keyshawn Paul's wearing 6. Is there a special process that goes into awarding that number?
Yeah, they pay me a lot of money. It depends on the number. It goes up $50 for one number. No. Keyshawn actually came in and saw me. He wanted to wear number 6, because of Jazz being from Miami. And, we were thinking about doing that, but we couldn't do it, and the opportunity presented itself. And then with some of the other things, a couple guys, wanted some numbers, and it kind of falls in line to what I'm looking for by position and everything else. So it just happened to be where numbers became available and opened up. We shouldn't have any more changes, but
without going into specific teams if you don't want to, are there logistical challenges when you're going independent? Like, I don't know what to do with like officials and games and, you know, other things that are making it, you know, a little bit difficult.
Yeah, I'm not like, I won't talk about the schedule or anything like that. I'll worry about that when we get closer, when we're going to have to play. But no, we are going to be using ACC officials. Okay, we did secure that. That was one area that we had to do, and that affects us right now, and that's something we have to do right now. So you'll see some ACC officials here throughout the spring. But that's who we're going to go with, you know, from an official standpoint. Really, all the other things aren't really, you know, they don't really affect us. You know?
And just let other people take care of that other stuff, want you to be independent status and everything, when you just concentrate
You know,
on football.
and that's what I tried to do, guys. I mean, all my focus and attention is on recruiting. You know, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. But you know, I got to make sure that I stay focused on what my job is and what the job is of these kids. You know, it's other people's responsibilities and jobs to make sure all those other things are taken care of. You know, I'm not. You know, I don't want all that responsibility. You know, I'm the head football coach here, and all I want to do is coach this team to get this team to be the best it can be. That's all that other stuff. That's for, you know, David and his administration, and, you know, Ryan Steinberg, my director of football operations, for them to handle. My focus and attention is on these kids, you know, recruiting, and now, you know, spring ball. You know, and so I just try to compartmentalize that, you know, and so. If I'm focused on that, you know, then the kids are going to be focused on that. If I'm all over the place with everything, then they're going to be all over the place, and then we're not going to have an opportunity to accomplish, you know, what we want to accomplish.
What are your expectations for Jack this season?
What's that?
For Jack?
I just want him to get better. You know, you go back and, you know, you go back through the cut-ups, and, you know, he was wasn't very sound fundamentally. The technique. He made some plays, but he's got a long way to go yet and he knows it, you know, and to be the kind of quarterback we want him to be, and the kind of quarterback that to be with the ability that he has. You know, he was sloppy, didn't have enough attention to detail, and you know, that's something that, you know, he'll work on and get better at.
You have a couple guys at that position coming off surgeries, Micah and Jonathan coming in off of ACL. Any of them limited
Well,
during the spring?
Jonathan is. Jonathan won't do anything during the spring. He's just got to get a lot stronger. Micah's on a pitch count, basically, throw count. So he's a little bit limited right now, and we'll just keep, because you can see he just doesn't have his arm strength back yet. You know, so he'll get that. But other than that, you know, Heatherman, you know, he's still coming off an injury. He's limited, you know, from that standpoint. Shaquille Gill, he got a knee, got scoped, meniscus. He's out for the spring. He heard that, you know, over the break or whatever. And I would like to see him out here, because I thought he was a guy that might be able to, you know, he would need to work. He'll get to work later. I think other than that, those are the guys there.
DJ Morgan?
Huh?
Is DJ Morgan okay?
Yeah, he had a labor surgery, so he won't practice this spring. So we had a couple guys that had to get cleaned up, you know, over the break. He was one of them. That was an injury that he had while he was at Notre Dame, but, you know, then when he got hurt here, we ended up doing some tests and things and saw that, you know, it was going to be that he was going to have surgery at the end of the season.
With 4 of the 5 campaigns no longer in the program, what are you looking at out of you guys to really step up and take control of the locker room?
Well, that's up to those guys. You know, I'm just going to sit back and watch. You know, I told them we'll elect they'll elect captains when we get back in August after we get through preseason camp. They'll vote on who they want. They've been doing a pretty good job of it. You know, from what I've been told, because we were out recruiting in the 2 weeks that we had, there's a lot more accountability. A lot more guys speaking up in terms of making sure guys are doing things. So, you know, from what I've seen, I like. But again, it's got to be consistent each and every day. But, you know, I mean, the Kevin Mensahs, the Vandermarks, the Luke Magliozzi's, you know, the older guys. But, you know, I think some of these younger guys too have, you know, they know what they want for this team, and they know how to go about it. And so I think there's going to be a lot of leaders. It might just be you'll have certain captains, but I think there's a lot of leadership here on this team.